Hey friends, it's Mari. The theme over at Scrapbook Nerd this week is creating masculine cards, and I'm going to be using this Alta new set called Trendy Circles. I'm going to be using some of these stamps, the sentiment, and dies from this set, and I'm going to be creating an A2 size card, and it is going to have a masculine theme, as I said. And I'm going to be starting off here with a couple of Distress Oxide inks and some Bristol Smooth cardstock. I'm going to blend these inks onto my cardstock using the Picket Fence brushes. And I'm going to start off here with some Shabby Shutters. I'm just going to blend that on here. As you can see, I've sped this up quite a bit, but I'm just using kind of a circular motion just to blend this on. If I feel like there's a little bit too much ink on my brush, I just tap it off on that white cardstock over to the right of my work area there. I'm now going to go in with a little bit of Faded Jeans Distress Oxide ink. I'm going to blend that on with a different Picket Fence brush. This one will just be for that blue for this process here. I'm going to blend that up into the Shabby Shutters, and then I'll go back with the Shabby Shutters blending brush again, and I will blend that over the Faded Jeans and just try to get a really nice smooth blend between the two colors so that they fade into each other and it just looks a kind of natural. And I didn't want it to be blotchy or anything like that. I just wanted a really nice smooth blend between the two colors. So to achieve that, I just take the Shabby Shutters now, and I'm going to just blend that right over top of and into that Faded Jeans. So you'll just see me working that through here so that I get just a really nice blend. And actually I'm going to end up going over top of that whole Faded Jeans area with the Shabby Shutters just to get a really nice blend, and I really like how this turns out. Now, there's a few ways that you can achieve masculine cards, obviously. One of the things that I use when I'm thinking about creating a masculine card is color. And so I usually try to choose a color scheme that might be considered more traditionally masculine. So in this case, I'm using kind of a green and blue or a yellowy green and blue color scheme here to create that effect. Now I just took my shimmer spritz and I just went over top of spritzed over top of that base there with the colors and just dabbed that up with a little bit of paper towel. And now I've got a really nice shimmer over top of that Distress ink faded piece there. And now I'm just going to take another piece of cardstock here. I've treated it with my anti-static powder tool, and I'm going to put this into my MISTI. I'm going to do some stamping with some Versamark ink. And this is just a really sticky, clear ink that creates a little bit of a kind of like a watermark on your paper. And using these stamps, it applies that sticky ink onto your paper, and in that way then you can use the embossing powder over top. So I'm just going to place some of these images here or some of these stamps from that Alta New Trendy Circle stamp set. I'm going to place those down onto I'm using some Nina 80-pound cardstock here for my stamping, and I'm going to just use my Versamark ink, like I said, here to stamp out these images, and then I'll take that off and I will put the silver embossing powder over top that you'll see me do here in a minute. So I just want to make sure I have a really nice solid image for each one of my circles, and I'm just going to stamp that a couple of times here and make sure that I've got just a really nice impression of all of these different stamps. So now I'm going to take some Brutus Monroe Sterling embossing powder here, just using my little Nouveau spoon to put that onto my paper. I'm going to just kind of move that around so that it gets onto all of the different areas on my paper here. Try not to spill a bunch of this. I should have put another paper down underneath my work area here, but I feel like I was probably just too lazy to do that. So anyways, now I'm just going to get this all on there, and now I'm going to take my heat tool. I did let my heat tool heat up a little bit before I took it to the paper, just to make sure that I don't warp my paper. And now I'm just melting that embossing powder that's nice and stuck to that Versamark ink. So this is going to be just a really nice shiny impression that this is going to leave once this embossing powder is all nicely melted. And just going to finish melting that up. And now I've taken some of the circle dies that are part of the Trendy Circles set, and I've die cut out all of those circles. Now I'm going to take a My Favorite Things stitched rectangle die, and I'm going to use that to cut out my panel for the front of my card. And now you can see that I've got 5 circles placed on there, so that I like that placement, just kind of like from top to bottom, putting the 2 larger circles and then placing the smaller circles over top of them with some foam adhesive. So the smaller circles are dimensional, and the 2 larger circles are just going to be glued down flat. So now I'm just going to take some of my art glitter glue. I'm going to just make sure that those bottom 2 circles are nicely stuck down there, and then I am going to continue on with my card once I get those all stuck down. So another way that you can achieve a masculine card is to choose shapes that are more masculine. It's not that guys don't like flowers, of course they do, but if we're talking about the traditional shapes for guys, oftentimes one way to achieve that is to use geometric shapes. And so circles are a really great way to kind of incorporate in a masculine theme into the project that you're working on. This is one of the sentiments from the Trendy Circle stamp set. It says happy birthday, and I've just stamped that onto some black cardstock with my Versamark ink again. I'm going to go over top of that with some white embossing powder, and I will melt that and then cut that into a square, and that will be my sentiment. Now I'm taking some Tim Holtz metallic cardstock. I have cut that out with a larger My Favorite Things stitched rectangle, and that is going to be placed on my card base. I just adhered that on with some Gina K tape runner, and I'm going to get that all stuck down, and now it's ready for my card front, and that's just the piece that I've already created. So I'm going to stick that down with a little bit of dimensional adhesive to pop it up a little bit, and that is going to be it for my card. Creating a masculine card is super easy to do. Like I said, a couple of tips: using a color scheme that's traditionally more masculine, using some geometric shapes is another neat way to incorporate a masculine theme. And so that is going to be it for my card here. I am going to show you, I'm going to slow down the video here in a minute and show you up close and slowly what I did to finish the card up and how it looks when it's all done. I have left a link in the description box below for the Scrapbook Nerd shop. You can head over there and see if you can find some products that are kind of, you could use a masculine theme to create a masculine card for Father's Day or for a birthday, whatever it is that you have coming up that you would like to give as a card to one of your males in your family or in your life. Thanks so much for stopping by today, guys. I really appreciate it. Have an amazing day, and I hope to see you another time here on my channel. Bye-bye.